Hi, welcome to our session on flooring. This session discusses applied flooring, which is installed as a single thin material, such as vinyl, tile, or carpet, or is composed of several individual components, such as wood and ceramic tile. Floors receive regular wear and abuse from feet, furniture, dirt, and water. Floor finish materials should be carefully chosen based on the function of the space and the amount of traffic anticipated. A wide range of finished floor types and methods of installation exist. Represented on the next two slides is a small sampling which exemplifies the most common in residential and commercial applications. We have solid wood, laminate parquet, and take a look at the rest. I'm going to be individually discussing each one. Some more. Why do we use floor coverings? We use them for aesthetics, to control surface wear, to be comfortable at work, play, and rest, to create a sense of welcome. The cleanliness of a facility is often defined through its floor appearance. Color is often the most important factor in specifying flooring. Light colors show more soil, while dark colors most often hide the most soil. In many cases, medium colors tend to be the best choice. With the good comes the not so good, such as some floorings are flammable. Flame spread is the movement of fire from one place to another, as well as across a surface. And use takes its toll when the consideration of upkeep and maintenance is important. Sound from contact with the surface may be an issue. Impact noises occur with an actual physical impact on the floor. Because of the rigid continuity of structures, the transmission of impact noise reaches parts of the building distant from the sound source itself. New flooring and installation can be expensive. It is not always the best or only choice. For example, in many locations, existing older vinyl asbestos tile floors, known as VAT, vinyl asbestos tile, still exist. The expense to remove and replace the contaminated floors could be very expensive. Sometimes the best choice is to encapsulate the contaminated existing floor tiles with a new overlayment flooring system. This new overlayment can provide a new appearance and even a slip resistance finish for pedestrian traffic and the movement of industrial equipment such as forklifts and carts. Labor is slow and labor is expensive because more often than not, skilled, experienced workers are needed to knit together the generally small component parts of a large floor installation. All flooring material is porous on a microscopic level, even though it may look quite solid. Tiny openings allow air inside the core, carrying with it whatever humidity there may be. The more humid the air, the more likelihood the material will soil or mildew. The less humid the air, the more likelihood the material, such as wood, will shrink. While this swelling or shrinkage may be very slight, it could be just enough to cause odors or even buckling or gaps to appear across the floor. With wood, placing the wood in the space where it is going to be installed for about 7 days allows the material to acclimate and adjust to the temperature and humidity of the room in which it will be installed. Once acclimated, the planks will be uniformly conditioned. In fact, skipping the proper acclimation process may void your warranty. Water damage affects flooring, generally making it come loose or promulgate the growth of mold and mildew. This is especially true if water has been sitting for extended periods of time. Ceramic floor tiles are not harmed by water, but grout in the joints can become damaged, stained, or deteriorate. It is critical to extract water as soon as possible and add proper drying techniques with fans and dehumidifiers. Proper installation and a program of regular maintenance delay the onset of discoloration and seepage through joints. An acceptable finished product can only be had when there is an appropriate, acceptable, and stable subbase, generally either a concrete or plywood underlayment. The same product manufactured at the same date and time belong to the same lot and will typically not exhibit any variations in color or physical characteristics. The same product manufactured at a different date and time belong to a different lot and may exhibit variations in color and physical characteristics. Product manufacturers, such as tile and laminate manufacturers, assign each lot a unique identification number and stamp it on the label before shipping. When purchasing finished materials, it is important to use material from the same die lot. Poor installation can be visible as heat weld failure on flooring seams of a brand new linoleum floor, and delayed maintenance can be visible as a dull or yellowed finish. Anti-slip skid proofing systems are highly recommended for kitchens, pool sides, changing facilities, fire escapes. In fact, anywhere a great deal of slip resistance is required and contaminants are likely. Whether a flooring finish material is considered a hard surface, such as wood or stone, or a soft surface, such as rubber or carpet, there are sustainability issues which the flooring industry has favorably addressed, such as the use of natural materials as opposed to synthetic, man-made, non-renewables, and proper disposal and recycling methods to minimize wastefulness. For all the good attributes, and in spite of the negative aspects cited in this slide, wood has been used as a floor finish for thousands of years. The Bible says that Solomon's temple had a floor of fir. That's F-I-R, not F-U-R. During the 1960s and 70s, wood flooring for residential use gave way in popularity to carpeting. But with modern advancement in wood technologies and products, plus the offering of warranties for extended years by wood floor manufacturers, the market for wood flooring has grown and consumer sales continue to rise. Another contributing factor in increased popularity is that wood is a naturally occurring and renewable resource. When buying tropical woods or wood products, we need to educate ourselves and our clients as consumers. Wood from tropical trees is used in a variety of ways. Furniture is the most obvious, but hardwood flooring, boat fixtures, ornamental wood pieces, and other wood products all may use tropical tree species. Look at the labels and try to find out where the wood came from. Consider the use of the wood you are buying. Do you really need something made from mahogany or Malaysian hardwoods? Or would a maple oak or pine product work just as well? If you cannot determine where a wood product came from and do not know how it was harvested or cut down, perhaps it's best not to buy it. Look at the Made In label, and if it says Malaysia, Indonesia, China, Thailand, or any other Southeast Asian country, you can be pretty certain the wood came from destroying a rainforest area. Oil-based finishes appear amber in color, have more of an odor due to their higher volatile organic compounds, VOCs, and dry in about 10 hours. Water or latex-based paints have lower or no VOCs, are near odorless, and dry more quickly. While oil-based finishes are more durable, particularly as floor finishes, the difference is minor, and the designer and client should opt in favor of the most environmentally friendly selection. VOCs, or volatile organic compounds, are typically not acutely toxic, but instead have compounding long-term health effects. The most common exposure to VOCs is by breathing in fumes during the application of glues and adhesives to secure products in place, and the off-gassing process from the products that follow. Some products can off-gas VOCs in our homes and places of business for years after they are put in. Improving our air quality is key to having a healthy indoor environment, even during construction, repairs, and maintenance of our shelters. Identifying and removing the source is a sure way of minimizing VOCs. Let's learn more about solid wood flooring options by studying this in the next few slides. In this slide, we can talk about the different types of slicing through the lumber trunk of the tree, and we have talked about the type of appearance that those types of various cuts give us as the face finish. We've talked about maple as being used for athletic floors because it's resilient and does not splinter. We have other hardwoods: walnut, ash, beech, hickory, birch, cherry, and the tropical hardwoods that are commonly used for solid wood floors. We have pine, which I described before as easily dented. If you drop a pot on a pine floor, that dent is going to be there. The typical depth of a solid wood floor is 3/4 of an inch, and it has that tongue and groove configuration for installing, or slip tongue, spline. A spline is a narrow strip of wood that can slip into the groove of a piece of hardwood flooring and turn it into a tongue. Because tongue and groove floors are always installed tongue forward, spline allows you to change your installation direction in irregularly shaped rooms. So the spline, in this case, is a separate piece that goes into the groove and it allows you to vary the pattern of the floor. We talked about how bringing the wood to acclimate into the space for about 7 days is a key feature in a good installation. We want the wood to dry to the level of humidity that the room will normally have. Here you can see the wood has been laid out in bundles and sitting there for acclimation. Then the installer is trying to get a general idea of how he might start to lay out the floor. Each tongue is fastened mechanically into the subfloor and hidden in such a way as the groove can meet over it. It can be done either pneumatically or by an old-fashioned hammer. Floorboards should be staggered or racked. This means that the ends of one length of floorboard should be at least 6 inches from a joint in the previous row. In this case, you can see that the finish can be applied either as a clear stain once it's sanded down and all the boards are of uniform thickness, so that you can run your hands smoothly across the joints without interruption. Solid wood flooring can be refinished and ground down several times until you get to the tongue. Each sanding takes off about 1/16 of an inch. Here are some samples of solid wood floor widths from 2 1/4 to 6 inches. Here you can see the tongue and grooves. You can see that the grooves are a little larger than the tongue because of these areas that allow expansion of the wood into the groove with the change in humidity. In this slide you can see that to the width of the strip flooring we can also add 1 1/2 and 2 inch, although they're less common. Most common strip flooring starts at 2 1/4 inch. So as I said, the wood planks go up to about 6 inches. Once they become wider than 3 1/4 inch, we call those strip flooring plank flooring. Another method of attachment is by drilling out some holes at the ends of each plank, screwing them in with a mechanical fastener, and then plugging those holes with wood plugs, possibly of a contrasting color or material, just to give a nice decorative effect to the floor finish. As opposed to natural solid wood flooring, we do have a type of engineered wood flooring that is called laminate flooring. The goal of the engineered wood flooring is to overcome some of those negative characteristics of solid wood floors, such as the need for on-site finishing by sanding and coating with polyurethane. Laminate flooring comes pre-finished directly to the job site. Two rapidly renewable woods which make distinctive decorative flooring are bamboo and cork. The architect Frank Lloyd Wright was an early proponent of cork and used it extensively in bathrooms and kitchens of his design. Cork flooring can be used in virtually every room of your household, including the bathroom and the kitchen. This is due to the cork flooring being great at resisting water and moisture. This is evident enough to anyone who has seen how cork stoppers hold wine inside a wine bottle. The natural resistance to water and insects is attributable to the waxy element in the cork, called suberin. A cork floor is natural and as beautiful as other types of wood flooring. Manufacturers of cork flooring can even produce cork floors in many different colors. I'd like you to take a minute and pause on this slide and study it to understand the sequence of installation of a typical wood strip or plank floor. Another flooring option with which interior designers should be familiar is ceramic tile. The main ingredients of ceramic tile and its general manufacturing process has not changed much throughout the centuries. All ceramic tiles are created from natural products extracted from the earth that are shaped into tiles and then fired in kilns at extremely high temperatures. When you look at a glazed tile from the side, you can see two layers. The body of the tile, or the largest layer, is called the bisque. The top layer is called the glaze. Glazed tiles have a hard, non-porous, impermeable surface after firing. They are more stain resistant than unglazed tile and are easier to clean. Unglazed tiles are solid colored all the way through and do not have a top layer of glaze. Now let's look at this slide and learn about some other types of ceramic tile. In this case, we are looking at a mosaic tile composed of squares, pretty much less than 3-inch size, 3-inch by 3-inch, often 1-inch by 1-inch. They come with a mesh backing nowadays. They used to be individual pieces that you had to set in, but of course getting consistency of joint widths was very difficult. Now with the mesh backs, the joints are consistently uniform. A quarry tile, often seen now in commercial kitchens and more recently in home kitchens and foyers. It's a clay type appearance. Along those lines we have terracotta tile, somewhat more rustic looking. Porcelain tile, a very expensive type of tile, highly qualified for many applications with precision sizing possible. We have structural glazed tile, that is structural concrete blocks that have on the outside of them the glaze in colors that you might desire. So it's an all-in-one system. As you're doing the structural concrete block, you're also being able to have the final finish face appear. So it's like one step saved. You often see this in school corridors or public facilities. And these are inkjet tiles. They are tiles where a picture has been superimposed on the surface of them. On this slide are some reasons that set ceramic tile apart from other flooring options. Take a look at this slide at your own speed. Slide 2 lists some of the reasons that set ceramic tile apart from other flooring options, but in a not so favorable light. So take a look at this slide at your own pace. As with all our building choices, we take the good with the not so good. We've just seen the not so good, and some of the good is that ceramic tile is long-lasting, recyclable, and made from natural ingredients. Full mortar bed or thick set installation involves the use of a thick 1 1/4 to 2-inch setting bed with reinforcing in some cases. This method is used when a stable substrate is uneven and must be smoothed out for proper application of the tile. The tile is then adhered to the mortar, and after hardening, the joints are grouted. Thinset uses a 1/4 to 3/4 wet mortar adhesive that is troweled on to create a groove surface into which tiles are then set. The grooves allow the tile multiple points of contact with the adhesive to create a strong bond. Once the adhesive has dried, the joints between the tiles are grouted. It is important that the interior designer create an accurate floor pattern drawing for the tile installer, leaving nothing to the installer's discretion. Tiles should be started in the center of the room and then installed towards the edges. The designer needs to decide whether they prefer a grout line in the center line of the room or a full tile at the center of the room. So let's look now to learn some about tile installation. Here's the tile installer determining the center of the room and working towards the perimeter, and he'll end up hopefully with an equal size cut piece all around the perimeter of the room where it's not going to be a focus of anyone's attention. The material is easily cut with a tile cutter. It scores the tile, which allows the installer to simply break it along that line. Cuts are easily made to the sizes required. As I told you with mosaics, with the small tiles, they come often back with a mesh that maintain uniform joint thickness, not necessarily available to be done with larger tiles. So instead, they use spacers to facilitate uniform joint widths, and spacers are available in many different widths. You would decide the width of the joint that the installer is to use. Once the tile is set in and given a chance to dry with the spacers installed overnight, those spacers then get removed and the grout can be applied between the joints in any color that you would select. The grout is applied rather haphazardly in a manner where you can just trowel over the joints, filling in the gaps with the mortar, with the grout mix, and then coming afterwards with a wet sponge to wipe off any residue. Sanded grout, because it has got sand in it, is used on the floor to add friction so you don't slip, and unsanded grout is used on the walls. Here you can see them scouring off the dried residue of the grout, and once that's done, the grout and the tile surfaces will be here and be clean. And the last step is to seal the joints with a grout sealer. This prevents staining and protects against water damage. This is a cross-section of a thick-set floor. This is showing you that the subfloor of the building or structure is concrete, that there is a cleavage membrane in red here which separates the setting bed of the thickset into which the tiles are pushed and applied. It keeps that setting bed independent of the structure of the building. So if the building slightly moves, as we said buildings do, that it won't crack the thickset of the tile floor. If it cracked the thickset of the tile floor, then we probably get some tile breakage and broken grout points where water would penetrate. This is actually a similar situation where we have cut a vertical section through a shower base, and so we have a slight sloped fill here below the panel, which is a waterproof panel. It used to be called and made out of lead, a lead pan that's flat on the floor of the shower and bends up about 6 or 12 inches to keep the shower base watertight. Now, instead of a lead pan, we do use another material that is vinyl and more acceptable, obviously, than toxic lead. Other flooring options are available to the interior designer as well. For instance, concrete, often used as a subfloor, can easily be a finished floor surface as well. Various textures and colors are achievable, as are surface applied finishes to seal the concrete. We can use carpet. Access floorings, which sit up above the subfloor and allow a place for ductwork, wiring, and other communication systems to run concealed. And we have resilient flooring. Resilient flooring are of soft surfaces and possess a natural springiness that allows some give, some resiliency. Springy flooring is much more comfortable to stand on, making it a popular choice for kitchens, hospitals, retail stores, and other environments where people spend a lot of time on their feet. Resilient flooring is also designed to be durable and resistant to stains and water, making it less likely to become a breeding ground for mold and mildew, which can make one's environment unhealthy. Some floors are treated with an upper layer of wax to make them even more stain resistant and easier to clean. There are a wide range of materials, styles, and price points in this flooring category. Some of those other materials include vinyl flooring, rubber flooring, leather flooring of vintage belts shaven down to ensure uniform size and then glued to the floor, kind of unique. Linoleum, comes on rolls. And stone. Locally available stone products are preferable to those that come from a distance in order to cut down on environmental impacts from transportation such as carbon monoxide emission from trucks, fossil fuel consumption, and other considerations. Stone flooring options include granite, marble, terrazzo, brick pavers, flagstone, bluestone, limestone, slate, quartzite, schist, and travertine. Thank you for your attention. We'll see you again soon.